Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Brandon Shank, and welcome to the Brandon Shank Podcast. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Brandon Shank Podcast. I don't know, that never gets old. I feel like I'm in a tunnel, getting ready to run out every time I hear that music.
It's even better?
It's a muscle memory.
You know what's even better?
What's that?
This right here. Just...
Come on. Let me hear it. Let me hear it. I feel like I'm in the tunnel, ready to run out. I can smell the hot dogs and the popcorn. I can hear the band playing. You know, it just gets me rolling.
High-fiving people. Let's go, man.
For those that are just listening, Corey's doing a beautiful parade wave. Really is. You know, it takes me right to the Macy's Day Parade. One of my favorite things about Thanksgiving, which we're not there yet, but it is post-Halloween. Right. And we were just talking about that before we jumped on, actually, Halloween, and how Corey was terrifying his neighbors last night. Is Michael Myers?
Yeah, I was Michael Myers. Yeah.
A 6'7".
Fun fact, the original
Myers.
Actor who played Michael Myers was 6'7", and for years and years and years, my friends have been telling me that I should be Michael Myers on Halloween. This just happened to be the year, so I terrified the neighborhood.
Is this the first time you've ever done it?
It's the first time ever. Yeah. I don't know why. I just invested in the suit and the mask, and
I don't know why I thought I saw that before. I don't know why I thought I saw it before.
Nah, dude. First time.
Well, it's November.
We're
here. You know what's interesting to me about, before we jump into November, I just want to take a 30-second highlight on the rest of October. I was at a buddy's house last night, and they had some pretty radical decorations, you know, like, I don't even, like, it just this raven, like Edgar Allan Poe, that had like red eyes. It was constantly like lurching, and like a scarecrow on the porch, its head would come off, like it was like a pumpkin over top his head, and he'd scream, and it was pretty intense. And I was amazed at the amount of children that defiantly walked right in the face of those things, terrified to get candy. I was like, any other night, they're going to mom and dad's house, or mom and dad's bed, but that night, nah, they were walking right up to get their candy. I was impressed.
That's cool. I like it.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Our crew wasn't scared of much.
Yeah, I think it's just a fun time for people to get together. You know.
Oh yeah.
I love just people being outside of their homes, hanging out, getting candy. It's just such a great community event.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh, I
love it. Well, it's November, and in my opinion, this is when pumpkin spice should actually launch.
Okay.
Even if you don't like pumpkin spice, November 1st is when it should actually launch, because nobody eats pumpkin pie in September. And if you do, that's fine. But we all know that pumpkin pie goes with Thanksgiving.
I mean,
you can go anytime.
I would eat
you
in
can do
September,
what you want.
but yeah.
Yeah, I would too. I actually had some in September, but that's not the point. The
I'm
point
jealous.
is pumpkin spice. Oh, you said you haven't had any in September?
Pumpkin pie? No, I haven't had pumpkin pie yet. I'm jealous.
Well, I had some last week. My mom actually made some. This is when pumpkin spice should be at its strongest right now, November 1st. You know what I mean? I mean, it's a crazy time of the month. Yesterday, the Washington Commanders traded their entire team away. Montez Sweat, Chase Young are both gone to our best D linemen. We're cleaning house. I'm believing in it. I'm believing that we're making a great turn. What does November 1st mean to you, Corey? What does today bring? I feel like November 1st is a fresh beginning. It's like January 1st for me. It's something about the school year has started. Halloween is over. Here comes the holidays. All the commercials are going to have snowflakes and Christmas jingles. Like, I just feel like it's, now this is like one of the favorite times of year.
Yeah. I'm just waiting for
you don't
my
seem
wife.
Excited.
I'm just waiting for my wife to tell me that we're decorating tonight.
I thought I saw something the other day. I think it was from her where there was a bunch of bags. That's you?
Yes, that was her. Yeah, groceries. But she zoomed into the Christmas tree. Little Debbie, she loves those things. But
those are good. The white one, little Debbie trees. So I had those all the time coming up. My wife last week hit me up with the Christmas decorations. No, Monday. We were out and about, and I saw the cart, and I was like, "What's that?" She was like, "What's that?"
Already getting some stuff.
She's like, "They ran out last year. I got to get it early." I was like, "Oh my!"
My wife sent me a video. Actually, my friend TJ sent my wife the video, and then he texted me. He's like, "I'm so sorry," and but it literally was someone had taken their Christmas tree that was clearly already set up in their house, and they put a sheet over it and put two black eyes so it looked like a ghost. And they're like, "Here's what you can do with your Christmas tree before." Like as Halloween is still going on.
Are you guys decorating tonight?
I hope not. I have baseball tonight, so that'll be my excuse to be like, nah, I'm taking the boys to the field. She can decorate if she wants to.
I understand that.
Yeah.
Well, it's a sad day. You know, all of those. I'll never.
Oh, yeah, I know. Yeah.
Matthew Perry passed away. And I had a weird epiphany in a selfish way. I'm like, man, Matthew Perry passed away. Last year, Bob Saget passed away. It's like all your childhood stars, you know, you got Friends, you got Full House, like, and I mean, they're people with families, and so I get that. But these are two people that played big roles in a lot of us who came up watching Friends and Full House, and I mean, you don't realize how much actors mean to you until they're no longer here, which sounds weird because I don't know them as people, but having shared the planet with people that have made an impact, even if it's through comedy, whatever it may be, you know, you appreciate them.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, you know, don't ever underestimate the value of people that you'll never meet, but that have an impact in your life, even if it's just to laugh, which sometimes I think it's all people need. They need Jesus and laughter.
There you
right?
go.
We started the podcast. We said Jesus, culture, sports, man. Why? People need Jesus. But God is in all those things, man. It says when people don't understand, when it says my joy comes in the morning, or the joy of the Lord is my strength, it's like laughter, humor, fun. That's actually our strength, is the joy of the Lord. People don't realize it, how much that is God, the laughter and the joy. So those are two comedians that, you know, made us laugh.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Maybe not in the most appropriate ways, but that's not my point.
Yeah.
Made us laugh. Hey, you asked for it. Oh man, he nailed it.
Don't blame me. You asked for it.
Wow. I feel like your finger was on that pulse.
You know what I got to do with that one? I got to give a little.
That was impressive.
It's so loud. Let me turn it down. There we go.
Wow, that almost sounded like a standing ovation clap.
You're welcome.
Do you have a regular clap and then like a standing ovation clap? And
there is a regular.
Like a curtain call?
Right here, yeah.
Oh, that's regular. Which one did you give me? Or which one would you give yourself right there?
I gave myself the cheering one.
Oh, okay.
There's clapping and then there's cheering.
Okay. All right. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with a little cheer.
I'm also ready if you say something funny. So
okay. Well,
tell a little joke.
Come on, man. I've been a blast this entire 5 minutes, and I haven't heard one laughter. There it is.
Gosh, so good. So good.
Coming on strong today, son. Hey, so I read this article, and I have a question, but it says, what really happens when Christians stop going to church? And it said the answer. Now, this answer is not, it might not be hard for many to believe, but it might be hard for some to believe. It says they start holding on to their politics.
Uh-oh.
It says, yeah, exactly. The fact is, people become even more entrenched in their political views when they stop attending services. And they say, well, why? It says some churches can be polarizing because of their political views, but most churches encourage people to get along regardless of their political views. So put your political views aside and get along with one another. So my question is, when people are more political than spiritual, what are they really holding on to? I would suggest it isn't faith, and you know, people go to church and they'll fight you over politics, but they won't really fight over the gospel, right?
Yeah.
So I'm curious. When you think about this, you know Christians that are extremely political. So what are they really holding on to? Are they holding on to politics? They hold on to Jesus? I think we both know the answer. But it says when people stop going to church, what do? They hold on to politics. So when you have people that are really involved in church and they start to fade away and they become really entrenched in a particular worldview and they become passionate about that worldview and that becomes their world, well, it's because their stability is no longer their stability. And the church, is it stability? You better believe it. Is Jesus stability? You better believe it. You can have Jesus without the church. You can know Jesus without the church, but you can't have the fullness of Jesus without the church. It's not possible.
Yeah.
Not possible. So what are your thoughts?
It's good. Oh, goodness. Yeah, I mean, I think it's control. I think there's a level of, thinking about the political sphere, whatever influence it has on people's lives. It's wanting to not even just control your life, but control other people's lives. And we view that through the lens of, well, politics does that. And if I want, I have these beliefs, and so therefore my country has to have these beliefs. It's just control, man. Like, that's how I view it. It's,
oh yeah,
not only do I want control of my own life, which speaks against faith, because we're supposed to die to ourselves, but it speaks to, well, I want everyone else to be under the same control that I'm under. And yeah, man, it gets divisive really fast.
Oh, super fast.
Yeah.
So it's just my question. It's a great answer. So I have been criticized pretty heavily for my candy choices last week. It seems like my candy choices and my Christmas comments, I can't even live my life anymore. I can't be a normal person. The critics are everywhere, and they're pretty harsh,
Yeah.
It's not friendly. And so, I'm going to put myself out there again. I figured, why not? So when you think of November 1st, I mean, it's a big time of year. And this isn't Christmas. This isn't Thanksgiving. This is November. It's a different holiday, right?
Just fall.
They call November no school November here in Virginia Beach because kids are out of school.
Yeah, right. Yeah, we've got a Friday and a Monday and a Tuesday coming up. Yeah.
And there's no vacation. It's not a special day. It's just they're
yeah.
out. So what are your top 3 favorite things to eat, smell, or experience in November?
Okay. Eat, smell, and experience?
Or experience. You get 3.
Or experience.
Would you like me to start? Because I wrote the
sure.
question.
We can
So
volley back and forth. Yeah, we can volley.
Yeah. So my first one is I love the smell of a candle with spruce or fir in it.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I was going to say some kind of woodsy candle. Yeah. That's where
That's
I'm at.
my jam. Yeah.
I mean, pumpkin pie's not bad either.
Well, actually, number 2 is pumpkin pie for me.
Yeah, I'm eating pumpkin pie.
While smelling a candle that smells like spruce or fir.
There you go.
And then my number
amazing.
3, my number 3 was coffee with a good flavored creamer.
That's good. That's really good. I like 2 things. I'm gonna bundle them in one. I do like, because we have a fireplace here, so I do like campfires and fireplaces.
Oh yeah,
it's always good. So
Those
we've got a chimney and everything. We light up that fire here soon. It's actually really cold. We don't have our heat on. It's really cold in my house today. So
yeah, I turned my heat on. It's the highest 53, which is ridiculous for Virginia Beach. It was 85 on Monday.
Yeah, it's chilly out there. It's windy.
It's supposed to get back in the mid-70s tomorrow. So
yeah, it's gonna be cold.
Those of you who aren't from here, the 50s don't hit Virginia Beach till January.
No,
and then usually it's not. Yeah. It's just random. We'll get an 80-degree day in February, but 50s here don't happen until after the year's over. Like we're in the 70s usually through November, so we're supposed to get back in the mid-70s tomorrow. So yeah, we're supposed to have baseball tonight. I think can't use them composot bats in this cold weather. I'm like, nah, we ain't doing that.
Yeah,
we got a tournament this weekend, but we'll be all right. You know what, guys? I don't know. So the word is out. This is a couple of articles. The word is out, and the research has been submitted that the weed, the marijuana, the cannabis that
Mary
people have
J.
been using, the Mary J.
We're just coming up with different names. Sorry.
Yeah, the Mary J. that people have been using for anxiety is actually making it worse.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can you believe that? Who would have thought? And it's backed by science. It's been promoted as something that can be an effective treatment for anxiety problems, but independent scientific studies shows that it's an ineffective treatment, and some studies have shown that it actually worsens symptoms. And so we know anxiety is the world's disease.
Yeah.
Fear. It is the one thing that we can't control but controls us. That's why alcoholism is where it is. People can't deal with life, right? They get addicted to a narcotic. That's why opioids and the use of drugs and prescription pills, it's fear and anxiety that drives us to inebriate.
Mm-hmm.
And I heard it said once that everything the Holy Spirit has, the devil has a counterfeit. So the Holy Spirit has peace and joy and love and grace and strength and patience, and the devil just gives these quick fixes that physically inebriate you but worsen the problem.
Yeah.
And that's why there's an issue with all these things.
Yeah.
So when I read it, it wasn't a surprise. I mean, somebody who's come through anxiety and depression, all those things, when I read it, I was like, oh, yeah, of course it isn't. Because you don't fix a problem. You inebriate a problem. And then even in the process, if it doesn't fix the problem, the anxiety is worse because now what you thought would fix the problem isn't fixing the problem. It's creating more of a problem. So you can't fix the problem that is overwhelming your life with panic. And now you don't know what to do. A lot of people come out of panic because they find a solution or a breathing technique or something that makes them feel like they're in control of the panic.
Yeah.
That's how the anxiety you overcome it, is you feel like you're in control again. When you rest in God, you know that he is the one who controls. He doesn't control the fear, but you know he's the one who can fight those battles. He's the one you find a peace in. When I flew over to Israel years ago, I had panic attacks for 12 hours on the way over. And I knew I was going to Israel. I knew that I was going to go tour the Holy Land. I wasn't getting off that plane for nothing. And even when I got over there, I had some of them. But I knew, like, I'm not leaving for anything. And it was in the middle of me going through my suicidal depression. And the Lord, he was my strength in a way that I know him so intimately in that way now that there's a piece of, like, he's always here. He's always there. He's always relevant. He's omniscient. He's omnipresent. Like, he's the fix for everything, that I never have to worry about finding a solution. He is the solution.
Yeah, absolutely.
Fixes everything.
Yeah.
It's the core of everything.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
So
always better to address the core than, stuff something, cover up something, inebriate, like, you name it. Like, it's just not actually addressing what's happening. It's not addressing the core of your anxiety or fear or worry or doubt. It's just pacifying it for a moment.
Well, and I think what we do in the world, what we do in our perspective is we take everything physical and try to find a physical treatment for a spiritual ailment, right?
Yeah.
So if you need open heart surgery, you're not going to lay on the bed in the gurney in the hospital and say, "Don't operate on me, doc. I believe in God's going to heal me." Well, he will heal you. He'll let that doctor saw your chest open and fix your heart and put it back together. And modern medicine is God's way of healing you.
Yeah.
It's physical things. Just like we've been reading in Malachi 3 in church, it says God's like, I'm gonna open up the floodgates. I'm gonna bless you. How? I'm not gonna let your grapes fall early so you get all the money from them. I'm not gonna let disease hit your crops. Like, those are things that are physical, that are increasing wealth physically, but they're spiritual things God's doing, right?
Yeah.
So for this example, you have this anxiety or this fear or this divorce that you can't get through, or this relationship that's been battered, or this financial thing you can't fix, and then you go and you get high, or you get drunk, or you get you dose up on something, and that's the solution. But I think this is where people don't realize Satan's goal is checkmate, right? His goal is it says he comes to seek, kill, and destroy. So it's three different things. He wants to find you, and he wants to kill you, and then he wants to destroy every trace that you even existed.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's a part of it, is he wants to destroy you. That's why people struggle with addictions for 30, 40, 50 years, because he is not going to relent. He will wait until he can destroy you and to destroy your reputation, destroy every impact you made. Satan wants to erase your existence from the face of the earth because he knows you are beautifully and wonderfully made, that you are crafted by a king. Like, that's his goal. So when I read articles like this, it's like, well, why would we ever think something like that would fix an issue that is spiritually, it's a mental, spiritual issue.
Yeah.
Fear is a mental, spiritual issue. Anxiety is a byproduct of fear, right?
Mm-hmm.
So even the whole thing right now with Israel, the war that's going on with the Palestinians and the Jews, this is not a new thing, right? Why do you think a country the size of New Jersey gets world attention every time it goes to war?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's this is where, this is the Holy Land. These are the Jews, and there is this relationship, and the Word of God, and Jesus was a Jew. Like, there was a reason that this place. It's interesting. When I went over to the Holy Land, the Muslims, when they took Jerusalem, they actually walled up the gates where they said in Revelation Jesus was going to come through, and all this. Like, they actually tried to stop what Jesus is going to do with physical things like a brick wall, right?
Yeah.
And right now, the Palestinians, when I went to Bethlehem to see the site where Jesus was born, we had a Jewish tour guide that had to get off the bus. Did I say this last week? I don't think I did. Did I tell this story?
Week. No.
So,
I've heard this story before, but
yeah, we had a Jewish tour guide that had to get off the bus when we got into Palestinian territory, right before we got into it. And then a Palestinian tour guide got on the bus. And when you get there, Palestinian, there's a lot of Muslims, right? So it's this Muslim culture versus Christian culture. That's the battle over Jerusalem. And that's why I don't understand why people think that if we all just believe in God, well, the scripture says that those who believe in Jesus have access to God, right? So that's the tension. Yeah. It's those who believe in Jesus have the access to God. So I say that because we look at this war and everybody's like, oh, how are we going to be apart? And, the Jews are fighting the Palestinians. And it's like, this is a war that has been going on from the earliest of times.
Yeah.
Right? The earliest of times. and it erupts, and these volcanoes eventually erupt, and it goes, and this is the state of spiritual warfare right now, and this is the height of demonic. It just is what it is. People can make it into some tension and some conflicts, and people aren't getting along. This is a spiritual war, 150%. Every war is, right? But we just don't think of darkness having to play in our life and light having to play in our life. Where the Bible says there's angels, there's demons, there's forces at work, and I think the reason that we struggle so much with seeing situations or our fear or anxiety or the addictions, we think that we are humans that have human things, and the addictions are just ways for us to fight against urges. We don't realize it's an assassination attempt from darkness to take our life.
Yeah. Yeah.
We don't realize that the addictions, the things that seem harmless, like pornography, how is that so bad? It's going to take your life.
Yeah.
It's going to take your family. So what happens when it takes your wife, and then you can't deal with the fact you lost your family, and then you go into an alcoholic addiction, or you go into a drug addiction, or you go into a suicidal. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The goal of everything that's not God is destruction.
Mm-hmm.
It's to destroy you. And so when I read articles about weed and about how it's not helping anxiety, you're thinking, well, duh. Like, it's not going to. There are things in our life we can do. I know that help you. I like to eat food, right? Our church is in a fast today. So, yeah, we're not eating, but I like to eat food. It's something that makes me feel good. Yesterday, we took our staff out for pastor appreciation, and we kicked it, and we had a good time, right? And we ate good, right?
Yeah, we did.
Why? We like to eat good. We like to eat.
Yeah.
That's something that nourishes you. I like my coffee. I like things. But when it comes to addictions that destroy your life, and these are the manipulations of darkness, and then you look at people say, what about wars? It's all the same thing, right? It's spiritual. It's people dying. It's people that are innocent in these different parts over in the Middle East that are dying that haven't done anything to anybody. It's darkness. It wants to destroy the children. It wants to destroy the men, the women. It wants to destroy everybody who it can. Anybody who can get convinced that war is a good thing, whatever it may be. It wants to destroy it. And I know war sometimes is necessary. You don't have a choice. You got to fight. I get it. So for all those pacifists, I don't agree with that. I think, sometimes you got to fight, right? It's like a bully. Sometimes you got to step up to the bully and protect. I get that. But what I'm saying is this is all spiritual. And we lose sight of the church. We lose sight of Jesus. We lose sight of power when we don't realize that everything is spiritual. Yeah. It is all trying to take your life. And it's that simple, and it is that accurate.
It's good.
Yeah, and I think no hand claps or nothing.
Oh, sorry. Oh man,
I can't even get like a good. That's good, man.
I don't have any of those. I'm sorry. Maybe I'll have to. That's
really like
good,
those.
Pastor. That's good.
I just like hand claps better. I think maybe a little whistle, like.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Yeah.
But anyway, so I just think when people don't realize that this is an eternal world, this is an eternal fight we're in, and Jesus is coming back. But like all these things in the media, and it's such low level stuff compared to what God can actually do in your life. The freedom he can provide and the wholeness he can provide in families. But I just don't see why church is important. I don't see why this is important. It's like, because you don't realize that you're in a legit spiritual fist fight and you're losing. And you think you just have things that you enjoy doing. No, it's destroying your family. It's destroying your marriage. It's and so, people who use weed to inebriate because they don't want to deal with life and it's making things worse. Well, it's not solving your problems.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not fixing anything.
Yeah. And you need people, man. You need that support system that because, anybody that could be listening or watching, whatever, like you may not be there right now, but I think the deception and the cunningness of the enemy is he does it little by little by little, and he convinces you, it's just a little, it's just a little, it's just a little. But before you know it, you're so far off God's trajectory for your life. And then when you don't have people around you to help support you in that season to get back on track, I think so many of us feel like I can do it myself. And man, then loneliness feeds in and that breeds other things. And it's like, you need people around you. Iron sharpens iron, man. Like you have to have that. And that's where, that's the fear of like, I don't need the church. No, you do. Like God built it this way for a reason. 'Cause he knows us. He knows what we need.
Well, and I think it's to me, when people write off addictions as pleasures, it's because it's now become a part of their daily routine in order for them to survive.
Yeah.
It's now survival. They just say it's a pleasure. It's survival at that point. So it wouldn't be a podcast without talking about Taylor Swift. But I want to talk really quickly about how messed up the thinking is. Like how jacked up the world's thinking is. Everybody looks at Taylor Swift and she's dating Travis Kelce and she's got this world tour and Rotten Tomatoes gives her a 10 out of 10 for her movie that she made of her tour and it's in theaters and all the Swifties are out. Like there is nobody more glorified than Taylor Swift in so many ways. She is the world's celebrity, the world's sweetheart, right? And she seems like a genuinely great person. I don't know her, but she seems very kind. She loves the fans. But she recently addressed some sexuality rumors that I thought was really powerful because what she said, it's so funny to me how many people are trying to get approval from the world and from the media and from I want people to look at me. I want to have fashion. I want to look a certain way so that people accept me instead of just being who God created you to be. And what she said was, this is what she said. You see, in the years preceding this, I had become the target of slut shaming, the intensity and relentlessness of which would be criticized and called out of if it happened today. The jokes about my amount of boyfriends, the trivialization of my songwriting as if it were a predatory act of a boy-crazy psychopath. The media co-signing of this narrative, I had to make it stop because it was starting to really hurt. It became clear to me that for me, there was no such thing as casual dating or even having a male friend who you platonically hang out with. If I was seen with him, it was assumed I was sleeping with him, and so I swore off hanging out with guys. Dating, flirting, or anything that could be weaponized against me by a culture that claimed to believe in liberating women but consistently treated me with the harsh moral codes of the Victorian era. Being a consummate optimist, I assumed I could fix this if I simply changed my behavior. So I swore off dating, and I decided to focus only on myself, my music, my growth, and my female friendships. If I only hung out with my female friends, people couldn't sensationalize or sexualize that, right? I would learn later on that people could and people would. But none of that mattered then because I had a plan and I had a demeanor as trusting as a basket of golden retriever puppies. I had the keys to my own apartment in New York and I had the melodies bursting from my imagination. So she's addressing rumors that she was a lesbian, I guess, or that she was bisexual because she only hung out with women. And so people said that she called it slut shaming. People said that's what they were doing that to her because she had guys that she would hang out with. Then she would hang out with just women so that they wouldn't do that to her anymore because it was hurting her feelings. Then they said she liked women. And she is telling us that this culture doesn't even know what this culture wants. And the only thing culture enjoys is seeing people fall. The only thing culture enjoys is seeing people trashed. The only thing culture enjoys is seeing you fail. So I told my wife not too long ago, I said, listen, if we're going to fulfill what God has for our life, we have to be used to people not liking us or liking it. You think as a pastor, well, people love you because you love them. Man, it doesn't matter what you start, what organization you start. They will move on without you no matter what, and they will not think about you, and they will not think on you. Why? People are thinking about themselves.
Yeah.
We always get our feelings hurt. It's just not the way the world works. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
I've had more organizations move on without me than one stay with me. It just doesn't the way it works. You can build something for people, and they will step on you to get to it. They do not care. And that's not saying that people are awful. It's saying that the world will bite itself with its own venom and wonder why it feels sick.
Yeah.
And that's what she's saying. She's saying that you said I was one way because I hung out with guys, and now you're saying I'm another way because I hang out with girls. I'm just trying to stay out of the media and be liked and know that I'm just a person. And that I can just be who I am. But people can't, the media and people just, they want to tear you apart. And I'm just curious as today, even people listening, I'm curious how many people have lived their life trying to please sounds too close. Like it's like family and friends. How many people have not really been who you are and who God's called you to be and what's been stirred in you? Because you're afraid of what people think. You haven't really found yourself.
Yeah.
It wasn't until I went through the years of the suicidal depression where I really thought I found myself. And the reason I did, it was the first time in my life when you stand that close to the gates of darkness and the gates of demonic and hell that you realize it's not that I don't care what people think, but I really don't. I gotta be what God's calling me to be. And I want to be who I'm happy with and what God's put inside of me and not what people think, because it's not worth it.
Mm-hmm.
It's not worth life, man.
Nah, dude. Yeah, you're preaching to the choir right now, man.
Tell him
Yeah,
the
I
story.
know that feeling, man. Yeah, I mean, I've struggled with kind of my whole life with this feeling of like just never being good enough, and which has caused me to strive really hard to become good at a lot of things. And mostly that was rooted in wanting to make my dad proud of me. And then that transfers to other people. You know, my dad passed away kind of tragically. And so recently I've gone through counseling, and that's a person that I can't talk to. I can't reconcile things with because they're not here anymore physically. And so, you know, you don't know these things about yourself until you start, you know, going through counseling or doing a lot of self-reflection. And so, yeah, I've constantly been striving just to be good at things to make other people proud of me. And it wasn't until this kind of second bout that I had with depression and not being able to sleep and, you know, literally almost taking my own life to unpack all of this stuff. And for the first time in my life, as I was kind of starting to get better and unpack things with my counselor, God was just like, I love you. And it was like, well, God, what am I supposed to do? Am I going to do this? Do I need it? He's like, nothing. Stop. Like, just stop. Stop, like, searching for approval here and here. Like, I just love you. It doesn't matter what your title is, what your label is, what you do. It's not what you do. I just love you. And for the first time in my life, it was this huge release of, I don't have to be anything. Like, or what I thought, whether it's a musician or a worshiper or a pastor or a this, that, and the other, or like, I felt like I was just striving in so many areas of my life. And it was like, yeah, God strips away all those identities and things that you thought you were. And it was like you said already, it was like meeting myself for the first time. And it was like, oh, man, this is actually what it's like to have a relationship with God when you get rid of all the clutter and God just kind of reveals who you are with him. And God's like, that's enough. That person is enough. And then moving on from that place in my life has been the most refreshing thing as a father, as a husband, as a pastor, as a, you know, an employee, whatever, like moving on from that place. Because my mindset is, yeah, I want to, you know, I want to make God proud, but he's already proud. Like, it's like, and so, yeah, I care about people in my life. I do want, you know, the people close to me to be proud of me, but it's rooted in a different place. I'm not striving anymore. Like, I know who God has created me to be, and I'm content in that. And I know we've talked a lot about that word recently, that it's not complacency. I want to get better, but it's just
contentment isn't saying I don't want to do more in my life and achieve. It says I'm content in you, God. I'm content with where you have me and what you're doing in my life. Do you feel like, when I feel like some people listen to this may hear you and think that what you're saying is that God will disarm your ambition, but that's not at all what we're saying.
No,
what we're saying is, because for me, when I like, whether I move into a dream house or I buy a dream car or I pastor the dream church or whatever, you fill in the blank for you, whatever that may be. Mm-hmm. You like, what now? Like, I had one of my good buddies tell me the other day, he's a young dude and he's pretty much achieved a lot of things he set out to achieve. And he said, man, nothing's changed for me.
Yeah.
He said, it's all just as hard. Yeah. And he said, the discrepancies in my spirit, the discrepancies in my life are the same. Like, I thought I'd feel different when I achieved this and grew to this and had this amount of money. He's like, nothing has changed. He's like, at all. And it really inspired me. He's one of my closest friends, because I look at my life and I know, like, my parents, one day they won't be here, right? One day, and I would hate to say that about my kids, but you think of people older than you, like, one day they won't be here. They won't be there to share in those things. Like, my wife recently lost her grandmother in August, and this time of year I think a lot about her grandmother, because we used to go camping up where her grandma lived. She lived in this beautiful A-frame cabin in West Virginia, and we go camping up there for the holidays, and we're not going up there this year. And I think about her grandparents. In the last 3 years, she lost both of them, and they were both two of the healthiest grandparents we had on both sides. And it was just so fast. Her grandma passed in August with cancer, and really it was a quick battle. And I say that because they won't ever be able to enjoy the things in our life that we get to enjoy. They won't get to see the accomplishments or the successes or the failures.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're not there. And it really does take some wax off that apple, because these people that you want to share in those things, they're just gone. Like life moves on and people get old and sickness happens. And so speaking to about you with your dad, all those things, it kind of disarms that of, well, what do I do now? I wanted to make him proud, and now he's not here to see that. And we can't always tell him, well, they're in heaven watching. Well, let's just talk about right now. And he's not here to see that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And so I think for people listening, there's a value, there's a huge value in what you just said, because ambition can be hard if we're not striving.
Yeah.
Because striving is, I want people to see me.
Yeah.
And I think ambition for some people, when they take away that part, they're not really that ambitious. They could be content with a lot less.
Yeah. And I think I learned that I was attempting to get what God was trying to give me all along from other people. Like, I think I was trying to receive something that from other people that God never asked me to receive that from them. God was like, I'm trying to be that person for you. And it took me a long time to figure that out, but on the other side, and so, just what you're talking about with ambition, it's, dude, the best way I can explain it to you is my counselor said it this way to me, that I was a notorious stuffer, and that when you're a stuffer, when you talk about your emotions or your passion or your drive, whatever you want to call it, you live with the volume knob turned down. And so emotions aren't frequencies, so they're not like highs, mids, and lows. It's just a volume knob. And you're either living with the volume turned down or you're living with it turned up. So what does that mean when you turn the volume up? Well, you experience anger and frustration. They're more intense, but so is joy, love, and peace, and, all of the good emotions. And so, in some ways, I feel like I'm a little bit more of a volatile person. Like, I experience things as I should, probably. I don't stuff them, but I'm way more passionate about the things in my life. And so my family, my kids, my calling, my relationship with God, goodness to, especially with my kids right now. It's just like there has been a passion kind of reignited in my life that I've never experienced before. And that was because I got to that place with God. I unpacked those fears and anxieties and those feelings of not being enough through, 6 months of counseling. But you feel like, man, I've met myself for the first time, and I'm alive for the first time, and my brain is active for the first time. And there's so many powers that come along with it. Now, I've heard you talk about this, and I'll kind of preface it, but the reason I know that I didn't stuff my depression and my anxiety this time, and because, again, I've heard you say this before, and it's 110% real. And I think this is what the enemy continues to try to do, is that depression and anxiety is right behind me. Mm-hmm. Like, it's right there. I could turn around at any moment and be given back into it if I let it. But I've learned the tools, and I know how I'm wired, and I know what God is doing in my life to stay ahead of it. But the enemy is always creeping right behind me. And that's how I know, as a stuffer, I haven't stuffed it. It's not just, it's magically gone. Like, no, that's stuffing. And so it's right behind me, and I experience it. From time to time, I experience it. But you go back to what God has spoken, the tools you've learned, and it's this constant process of being renewed and renewing your mind, like the Bible talks about. And then you come out just more and more passion, more and more drive. Your ambition is multiplied after all of that. It's not, contentment is not, now I'm just content to not do anything. No, that's not contentment. It's, I know who I am finally. Like, I see myself more like God sees me.
Well, I think a lot of people, they look at it too, and they think, once I overcome depression or anxiety or these emotions, then I'll just be free and I can live my life. That's not the case with anything. It's not the case with an addiction. It's not the case. Breaking free from an addiction means I don't need it to survive. It doesn't mean it's never a temptation. Breaking free from gluttony where you just overeat. It's like, no, I have a diet that I'm on. And I hate the word diet because it makes me think of like Diet Coke and unhealthy things.
Yeah.
But you're saying, no, I have a diet that I'm on, that I'm going to stay eating these fruits and vegetables and, these good carbs and these proteins. It's a different lifestyle. And I think that's what people need to realize is when you come through with those types of anxieties, it is depression, anxiety is always right there. You can jump back into it when you want because you're human and you know what it feels like to be there, but you know what it feels like to not be there, and you know how to stay out of it. That's where I'm at. I know how to stay out of it. Yeah. I know how to never go back. If I go back, it's majority my fault because I'm walking back. It's not for me. It's not an imbalance that I can't control. I can walk back into it if I choose. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So, and people can overcome it. And that's what I'm saying. We make Jesus so untouchable that it's a story in a book, and we don't realize there is real war, there is real fight, there is real danger, that we're seeing it on our news with Israel right now. We're seeing it on the news when we were fighting in Afghanistan. We're seeing it on the news when we see people shot and killed every day. We're seeing it on social when you see adults bully just like kids. They just do it with memes.
Yeah.
And we laugh at it.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. We're bullying people just like kids bully. It's the same thing in the same world. So, final thought.
Here's my final thought.
Gosh, you're good today.
I'm on it today. Well, it helps that it's right in front of me.
I don't even
today.
know. Final thought again. Final thought again. Final thought again.
Here's my final thought.
One more time. Final thought.
Here's my final thought.
Yeah, I can't shake him. He's on today, folks. So, have you ever watched people running?
Yeah.
You're ever just like, wow, they're really graceful at running.
I think
or you're
I
like,
might
wow,
know
they
where
look like it hurts when they run.
Yeah.
I've seen people on both sides.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you one thing that's a fascinating fact. Virginia Beach is a very health-conscious city. There's a lot of parks.
It's true.
A lot of people running. A lot of people running without shirts on, quite frequently, year-round. And I respect that. I'll tell you one thing I respect the most. People who run with cargo shorts and T-shirts. And I'll tell you why.
Okay.
There are some people you see running that I'm not convinced they plan to run. I think they started off with cleaning their front yard and they just took off running. Like Forrest Gumped it.
Or
they walk out their front door and they don't stop. And some people look like they're running from something.
Yeah.
They're in full clothes. I've seen people running on the side of the road with full clothes, fully clothed. Like, that's not a running outfit. That's not even a workout outfit. They're just running. And I'm thinking that is what makes America great.
That's special, yeah.
I mean, it's unbelievable. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. And I've seen it so many times. I think people hate the idea of exercise. They hate the idea of planning exercise. But when it hits right, you just go. When it hits you right, you just take off. And you don't
got
slow
time
down
to
until you're done.
change. Yeah.
And you know what? When you think about it, I kind of wish I could do that in my life.
Yeah.
I'd be miserable.
Well, you and I are, but we're sweaters. So I don't.
Well,
I mean, that's just uncomfortable at that point.
I can't understand people that wear jeans because they choose to, unless they have to. I hate wearing jeans.
I don't have anything against jeans.
Well, the ones they make now are like sweatpants, so the stretchy,
they're
great,
stretchy jeans. Yeah.
But if I'm going to kick it one day, I'm wearing like my Under Armour pants or something like that. Like I got them on right now. You know, jeans are one of those things. If I got a meeting or if I got to meet, I'll throw jeans on. I got some nice, comfortable jeans, but all day, every day, I'm throwing on like some workout gear over jeans, and so I see people just hanging out just in their jeans and their like flannel. I'm like, dude, that's like a dress outfit for me. I can't just do it. Yeah, or running.
I'm gonna go run. I'm gonna go run a mile.
Like, bro,
in my flannel, my jorts.
Like this guy got some Timberlands on mile 3.
Boots. Is he scuffing them while he walks? Dude. Is he scuffing the backs?
I don't know. The way he was running, he probably smooth like butter. So next time you see that person running and they're in cargos, they're in some cargo shorts. I saw a meme the other day. It says, "Can we never wear these again?" And that's a perfect idea of bullying. There are some men out there who love their cargo shorts. I'm not one of them. Yeah. But those of you who are, embrace it. Embrace it. That's who you are. You don't let people change that because of a dirty meme, a rude meme. You don't let them change who you are.
Gotta have some place for your 12 pocket knives and your hammer.
Exactly. Especially if you're running. You don't know how many dogs you're going to encounter. You know what I'm saying? You have to defend yourself.
That's very true. Yeah,
I know it's true. You better believe it.
Some horror stories there.
I have, though, man. I have watched people, and I want you all to pay attention to this. Next week, you're driving down the road. I want you to look, and I want you to ask yourself the question, did they plan on running? Or did it just hit them right?
Yeah.
Because that is the question that you need to ask. Because
That's a good
I am
point.
now at a place of confusion with more than half of the runners I see. I'm not sure they wanted to start this way, but they're doing their thing.
Yeah.
So
And
I'm
if-
thinking about staying in workout gear all the time, and when it hits me right, your boy's just going to go.
If they aren't in workout gear, be sure to check if there's anyone behind them. Help out if you can.
Yeah.
Or if there's police lights or something. Just be aware. Just look.
If
be
they,
on the
aren't in
lookout.
workout gear, you could be needing a statement at the end of it. That's all
Yeah,
we're gonna say.
exactly. You're a
Yeah.
witness at
Yeah.
this point.
Hey, but what you need to just go run. Just go
There you
run.
go.
Enjoy yourself.
That's good.
Let the wind blow in your hair. Cargo shorts, khaki shorts, nice, thick, heavy Carhartt jeans. It doesn't matter.
A Michael Myers jumpsuit.
Whatever you got to do, just get it in. Just get it in, right? Let me pray for you. Lord, I pray for each and every listener. I pray that you will be with them, that they will know you see them today, your hand is on them, you love them, and that you are still the king, you still on the throne, you've never lost and never will. I pray that they will be encouraged today to know that they are beautifully and wonderfully made, crafted by the great Creator. In Jesus' name, amen. Hey, we love you guys. We'll see you Sunday, 9:30.
I'm going to change it up. We ready?
Okay.
I'm going to change it up.
Okay. Send us out with some cheers. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Have a great
Just
day.
kidding. We got to hit that outro. What are you talking about?
Love you guys. Have a great day.